a league, which there is a challenge sometimes because it gets very long or exceeding the deadline for finishing the league. Like this season is nobody knows when the league will finish, and then this will affect a lot all the contractors. We expect the league might finish in November. There is a huge postponed matches happen for many of the clubs, and this being problems start in COVID time, and then now we are now facing the difficult time. So how this going to affect the business? It's going to affect the business so much. Like just imagine you have a player, and you have a good contract for them, but they still engaged with the club. So it's not going to be easy. And then if you try to bring a player to play in Egypt also during this transfer time, but the clubs are in competition itself. So the coaches, the management, they are busy more with the result. It's busy more with how the club will finish. So it is not going to be easy. But just explain one incident. Still, by the end, there is a league going on, annual league going on. The competition is stable. So this is what we need in Africa as well. Not only in Egypt, but everywhere. Stable league or stable competition will bring a lot of sponsors because they knows when things will start, what kind of attraction for the lead for the audience will be there, so they can put investment in. And then this of course will reflect on us because you can, if the clubs have sponsors, then they can pay, then the agents can find opportunities to bring players in.
Nicolas, how is it doing business in Europe?
How is the business in Europe?
How is it doing business?
How we can do business in Europe?
Yes.
That's a super good question. Not sure I have the right answer at the moment. But if we forgot every problems, okay, of visa, as I explained yesterday, or I will take, I will answer with the question some new agents and young agents asked me on the last 2 days. And some of them asked me, why you only choosing players from national team? Okay, why? Just because of the good videos. Because it's another problem in Africa. All our championships are not well filmed. Okay, we don't have good full matches. When a club in Europe decided to invest it on one player, he will not invest it only after 3 minutes highlights. He will invest it after these 3 minutes highlights are just here to give the taste. Okay, and with the taste. He said 3 minutes highlights, very interesting. It's very easy to build the highlights and show you the new Mbappe. But football is not only 3 minutes highlights, you know. So clubs will want to see more and more and full matches before. But it's not possible. We are in Kenya. I'm speaking since 2 days with one player, Moses Shuma, who plays in Kakamega. Okay. He already played for national teams, okay, first national teams. He's playing the top league, the top division here in Kenya. And I checked this morning on MyScout, no matches. How you can promote one player without matches, without good video, without good highlights? It's absolutely impossible. So, to succeed, to make good deals from Africa to Europe, okay, we will have to speak also with federation, with TV, with leagues to change and invest it on good film championship. It's a big challenge, but I think if I ask you, and I asked during the lunch the question to 3 colleagues, what's the difference, what's make the difference with Premier League in England and all the other championships? Why Premier League in England is the NBA of football? Why? Because of the TV rights. TV rights in some clubs are more than 80-90% of the budget. Without TV rights, Premier League will not be a good championship. But now you can travel everywhere in the world. You can go in China, you can go in South America, you can go everywhere. When you switch off, you stop the TV, you will see one match of Chelsea, Liverpool, and they sold their championship very well, so they have the money, and the money allow them and permit them to grow and invest it on players. Okay, so this challenge of good videos from African players, and that's why I chosen players who playing with the national team, because national team tournament, international tournament are normally, not every time, but normally well filmed, and we have the good tools, good material to create it, highlights and promote the players. This is, for me, this is one of important things to develop.
So you feel in Africa you need to get more links on TV?
True. Ivory Coast Championship, we have our friends from Ivory Coast. Okay, Ivory Coast Championship developed, and you can find some player who never played with the national team in Ivory Coast in outside in Europe now. Why? Because Canal Plus invested in Ivory Coast Championship, and you have, I think, minimum half of the matches every week are filmed and are live on TV. Because they are well filmed, the company, there is only one company now, and we spoke about that last night, Luis. In the past, you have two companies who gave opportunities to found matches on the website, okay?
Yeah.
Instat was Russian and Wisecout, Italian. But now it's a found investment from United States both. So there is no competitor, okay? It's they bought both and doubled the price. That's the business. So if you want to watch players from Ivory Coast first division, now you have the opportunity because one company, TV company like Canal Plus invested on this championship. I can imagine it could be possible in a lot of countries in Africa also, and it will help to promote. And without good highlights, without good videos, it's super difficult to sell one player in Europe.
Eddie, how is it in West Africa?
All right, thank you very much. I would say West Africa does not really have more peculiar challenges like more than the ones that have been highlighted. We must agree that in Africa, the West Africa region actually produces the most of the professional players in Africa. But I would say because of the resilience of the players, irrespective of the challenges they face in infrastructural development, not having the best of stadium to train, not having the best of facilities, or even let's say cleats and other things that they require, but their resilience have actually made them to make it to the limelight. But if I would say doing business in West Africa, fine, we actually have a challenge. Apart from the videos that was mentioned, we have issues with accurate record and data keeping, and there are information whereby
do we have a data on where is the more exposure in Africa? Like for which leagues have more exposure? Like let's say, which league in Africa have 100% commercial TV exposure? South Africa will be one, Egypt will be second, I think Morocco will be the third.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is difficult to find another place. Maybe Tunisia have 80% or 70%. Algeria also. A few years back, the matches which was covered in Egypt was not so much. I think like 8 or 10 years ago, maybe 50% only of the matches was covered by TV, and the rest by the radio. So what to do if you are in this case? Like, I think it is very difficult, of course. Imagine you are agent of a player who have no exposure at all. Maybe during the whole one season he playing 20 matches, but only 2 or 3 matches are covered by very bad TV coverage. It's going to be very difficult, but what you're going to do is you try to move him or try to move her to somewhere which have more exposure. And it's still in Africa also, if you can. Like now I can say, for instance, the second division in Egypt is fully covered also.
Yeah. Nicolas, one question to you I've been asked to ask you. We see a lot of players moving from the West and North to Europe, but on this side now of East Africa, the numbers are not that high. Why?
Visa is a problem. We already spoke about that yesterday. The second problem, in my opinion, is also education of president. Okay, don't fight me. But it's difficult for a president who invested money in one club in Africa when his best player received an offer. He really want to take money immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, and ask, oh, I want $1,500,000. I want. Nobody will invest this type of money. For example, when Samata left Mazembe, it was Samata, and he was elected best player of Africa, African best player on the continent Africa in the same year of Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I transferred him for only 5 months contract for 500,000 because Moise Katumbi put a big pressure on Genk. If not, it was less than that. But Farouk Mia from Uganda, Farouk was transferred for Standard Liège for 300. But it was Farouk Mia. He was already a superstar and already played with the national team. So I invited a lot of presidents in Africa to say, guys, don't be too much greedy, okay? It's difficult to explain them. Be patient. How much do you want? You want 100? You want 50,000 for the transfer fee? Okay, not possible now. But keep the economic right of the boy. We will find a solution for a free loan in Europe, okay, in a club in Europe. We will put the player under the spot, and if he is good, you will not have 50 or 100. You can have the double or the triple, because people in Europe will be already convinced he has enough potential and enough talent to play. You know. Derek Kakuza from Uganda was announced like the next Farouk Mia. I saw him play in Africa live. He was awesome. Everybody, agency, clubs in Europe wanted him. I saw him play in Latvia, in Valmiera. He was horrible. I thought it was his cousin, not the same boy. But we have to understand, for an African player, it's not easy to leave everything. Arrived in Latvia, okay, under the snow, far from your family, for everything. This is not easy. Only the strongest will succeed. You know, only the strongest will succeed. And Egypt, Morocco, Algeria also contribute to make the president in Africa a little bit greedy, because they have the money to buy player 200, 300, 400. So when you arrive with an offer from France second division, today in France second division, TV rights are super low, and no club can pay 50,000 euro transfer fee in second division. But for an African player who comes direct from Africa, it's probably the best championship. Why? Because he will play. If you want to existing, you have to play him. Stop playing is stopping existing. Okay, you will be transferred in Lyon, in France. Super. But you will stay on the bench or home or in the grandstand or with the B or third team. Nobody will see you, your career will continue to sleep. Okay? It's important for an African player when he arrives in Europe to play him. So there is a lot of things to change, and evolution is possible. For sure, evolution is possible.
Thanks a lot for that. I'm gonna open the floor to some questions before we move to the next stage.
Like, should I share this story or no? But I will just try to be quick, because I shared it with a few guys here. I shared it with Nicolas. I shared it also with the president. So I'm trying to make, of course, like everyone, I'm trying to make my first deal. So I have a players, which I'm representing them now, and then trying to make the deal. One of the players are at home. So I won't mention the country. I won't mention the name. So that player, we was lucky enough. One club approached us. We did nothing almost. He played before for the national team. So they seen him, some videos of him somewhere, and then they decided to try to call him. Then they approached us, and this club from Libya, for just to say, and they offered him some good money, and then the player agreed in the beginning. And then the club was about to send the ticket, they prepared the payment, they prepared everything. And just imagine someone who's sitting at home and then he will get tomorrow 120,000 USD to play only for less than 4 or 5 months. But it's the payment for the whole year. And then he was disappeared for 5 days. And nobody can approach him or reach him. And then finally, he said, no, I changed my mind. Then the club thought that he tried to negotiate. And the club was very kind. They go up by like more 30% for the payment. But then the player say, no, I don't want still. So finally, okay, maybe he's getting a better contract. No, he just don't want. And then a few days later, he said, I'm in China. Okay, well, what are you doing in China? I'm trying to find my club by myself. Okay, and then we're just talking about player who play for a national team in Africa, and this is how he doing or how he behaving. And then, okay, could you also discuss with me before that, so we could help each other, because I'm supposed to be your agent. He said, this is what I'm trying to do, and then if I got something, I will let you know. So okay, after he signed the contract, he'll let me know. So the next move, we got a club from Iraq who wants him to sign, and with much better than previous offer. And in the beginning, he agreed. And again, we start the same scenario. He was disappeared again. And after a few days, he appeared back and said, no, Iraq is not safe. I don't want to go there. Okay, but I'm sorry to say, but where you are is not safe as well. And finally, he posting photo on Facebook, playing in the street. In his country.
Yeah, he's back.
And if I doesn't show people here by evidence, nobody will believe. But it is 100% valid and true story. And not only this, like a few weeks ago also, he posted a video, which if I'm president of a club, I would never ever contract him. Like he playing in the sand, in the street, and he just avoid one injury, second injury, third injury, in 10 seconds. So what kind of mentality you have also to know that you're gonna deal with this? So you can find a contract, but it is not easy to find the player who also helping himself till the end. Thank you for being patient.
My question now goes to Nico. If you have this kind of player, can you manage it or will you manage it?
I don't know. No, this is not. In French, we said this is not. The job of agent is not prêt-à-porter. Okay, this is haute couture. This is not prêt-à-porter. This is not. Every case are specific, and we're talking about human. We're talking about human, and it's the same when one coach enter in the room, changing room, and started to shouting, it was absolutely horrible. Okay, some players will react and be super good because it's the way they work. But some other players with the same words will be more than down. So we're talking about humans. So it's very difficult to say what I can do with this type of player. But I have this type of example, I already have a lot. And even players already in Europe, because from Uganda to always, everybody remember Yunus Sentamu was elected best player for a Shan. I found something for him. It was more easy at this time. It was last 8 years, 9 years. So it was easy to succeed for visa. And he moves in, I traveled with him in Belgium, in Spain. He made a lot of trial, okay, in Leganés in Spain. Finally, was not easy because a lot of clubs. He played for a lot of clubs and he didn't have yet 23 years old. So training compensation. And all the former clubs didn't want to waive the training compensation. That's another problem. Next year, we will speak about that. But so we found something in Albania, okay? And he played in Albania top division, KF Tirana, playing UEFA qualification, Europa League, everything. But every time the boy was called with the national team, Uganda national team, okay? Every time he has 8 days, 9 days, he never came back. Always 1 week more, 10 days more, 2 weeks more. Club said, what's the shit? Well, every time it's the same. We have matches, you know, FIFA dates they are mandatory. You clubs must leave the boy for the FIFA day, but they have also to respect it, okay? And one day he crashed his passport to say, oh, I have a problem, they refuse me to the airport. And it was the last time he succeeded to travel to Europe because the club cancelled the contract. So it was my player, and I explained him many, many times, face to face. Yunus, you have to be more intelligent, you have to be more smart. This is your future, the future of your family. You want to stay, do a good career, and I explained to all of my boys one thing very, very important. The normal life